Before heading to the video, if you haven't subscribed the channel, do subscribe it and don't forget to click the bell icon for the latest update notification. If you like the video, do like, comment and share. Stay tuned with learnbay.co. Happy learning!
So what is exception handling? As of now, we have written a lot of code and we have seen that, so before starting, see this exception handling, few topics are there. As I said, exception handling, regular expression, then in function, you have decorators. So these all things, you have to practice. Okay, you have to write the code, you have to practice, and as much as you will practice, you will get proficient into that. Okay, if you will leave, for example, if you're facing the problem and if you leave, you'll learn it later, so always it will be a headache for you. Using them into your program, for example, if I'm learning exception handling, so whatever code now, from now on, whatever code you will write, use the exception handling concept from every code. Okay, so that will give you the better exposure to this topics. Okay, it's not like kind of I will take the class and then you will be able to use the exception handling from today only in all of your code. It all comes by practice. Okay, so yes, we'll take the class. I'll tell you that what is exception handling, how you can do that, what all keywords are there in that. So we'll be learning about that. But yes, you have to use it in your program. So now exception handling, basically what is exception handling? So we have written a lot of programs till now, and in most of the programs we are getting the error and it is stopping the code immediately without the normal ending of the code or normal termination of the program. Okay, so for example, let's say if this code, if I'm going to open it into the append mode, in this case the error is at line number 3. So what will happen in this case? The error will come at line number 3 and then this code will not be executed. Okay, the further lines of the code will not be executed. Okay, in this case, if I know that the error may come at line number 3, I can keep this code into some block so that if the error comes, it will not execute it, but it will execute the rest line of the code. I want this rest line of the code to be executed though this error is coming. Okay, fine. And if this error is not coming, then no problem, execute this and execute this also. So in that case, what is my current requirement? That if any error comes, then the program should not terminate abnormally. It should terminate normally, correct? So if abnormal termination means what? The further lines of the code will not be executed, and that may create a problem. Okay, so for example, your application may collapse or your applications may stop working. So what you have to do, you have to do the normal termination of the program. For that, what I will do, so we will be using exception handling concept for that. And what exception handling concept we have? So mainly we have try, except, and finally. These all are the 3 blocks which we'll be using to write the exception handling. Okay, now what is this try block? So whatever code you are expecting that is going to give you the error, that code you will be writing into the try block. What this except block says, so after the error is raised into the try block, what code you want to execute after the the error is raised, that is coming into the except block. And what is this finally block? Finally block says that doesn't matter whether you are getting the error or not. Okay, whether you are getting the error or not, the code written in the finally block will be executed by default. Okay, so mainly we use this finally block for writing the cleanup code. For example, if you have some cleanup activity to do, the objects which you are not using, if you want to delete the references or not, you do go ahead and write that code into the finally block. Okay, now let's say, so we will use the same code. So I know that I'm going to get the error at line number 5. So what I will do, I'll keep this inside the try block, only this code. Remember, keep only that code which is inside the try block. Why? Because if you will keep this code, then what will happen? So then what will happen? If the error comes at this line of code, then from here it will be guided to the except block. Okay. It will be guided to the except block and it will print that some error has, okay. Now if I run this, it is giving me some error has occurred, but this part of the code is not executed. You can see this part of the code is not executed, correct? Whereas what I wanted, that if the error comes, then fine, give me this message, but execute this part of the code also, correct? So this has not to be written inside the try block, because the line which is giving me the error is only this line. Okay, so I will write only this line, and after executing this f.read or this some error has occurred, I want this code to be executed in the normal execution or normal flow of the program. So I will write it here. Okay, now if I will run this, so it will close the file, and then it is now, after writing this hello, it is giving me the last position of the file object. Okay, so you can see now one thing you need to remember, that in the try block you will be writing only that part of the code which is going to give you the error. Okay, that's it. Next, yes.
So one question I have. So can we get to know that what error has occurred in exception? Because normally a string or message exception is also passed.
We'll see that. We'll see that.
Okay.
Okay. Now let's say we have, sometimes we know the nature of the error. For example, let's say we have two numbers, a is equal to 100 and b is equal to 0. Okay, so we know the nature of the error here, that if you will try to divide this number 100 by 0, you will get one error. What error you will get? So see, there are a list of error. For example, you don't have to memorize all the error, but you just can get the list online. So list of exceptions in Python. So you have this list, or you can go and see this one also. This is also good. So you have base exception, which is the top class, and then after that you have exception class, which is the child class of exception, and then you have this arithmetic error, OS error, runtime error, lookup error, syntax error. There are a lot of error. Not only this, there are a huge list of error which you can easily get after writing print dir of built-ins. Okay, so you'll get all the list of error, but these all are the main errors which we generally work upon. So we have this arithmetic error, OS error, runtime error, lookup error, syntax error, and all these errors are the child class of the exception class. Okay, now they have the properties defined in the exception class, properties and behavior defined in the exception class. So if you are going to define your own exceptions also, so you will inherit this exception class into your user defined class. Okay, so as of now, what we have seen, we have arithmetic error, and arithmetic error has zero division error. Then OS error has file not found and permission error. There are few more errors. Just 1 minute. This is fine. So we have this arithmetic error. Arithmetic error comes under floating point error, overflow error, zero division error. Sorry, these three errors comes in, under arithmetic error. Then these two error comes under lookup error. These two error comes under OS error. And apart from that, we have other errors also. This is also not a complete list. The other list you can get again in using print dir underscore built-in. Okay, so these all are the errors we have, and in this code, let's say I know one thing, that there is one error, zero division error, which comes under arithmetic error. So if I will do this code, let's say if I will write result is equal to a divided by b, and then I will try to print the result, and then that's it. So let me print a and b also. So if I run this, I am getting zero division error. This error is caught, and I knew that if I will try to divide this number with this 0, I will get zero division error. Then what I can do, that I was expecting that this line of code will give me the error. So what I will do, I will write try and this, and then in except I'll be writing zero division error. Okay. Now after that, I'll be writing here print cannot divide by 0. If I'll run this, so okay, this is so if I will try to run this now, what I'm getting this result a/b, and it is going to give me the error. If the error comes, then this line of code will not be executed, and it will give me this cannot divide by 0, which is giving me, and then it is the normal execution a and b. But let's say if I will take 10 here, then what will happen? So this line of the code will be executed, and this line of the code will also be executed, and it will not come to the except block, it will directly come to AB. Okay, it will print AB. So see, now I have written this C. If I write this print result outside of the code, it will try to get the result value which is not defined again. So it was giving me the name error. Okay, so what you can see from here as of now, that one case where we knew the error, then we have written this zero division error. Okay, now in this zero division error comes under arithmetic error. Okay, so the order of the error is also important. For example, I know that I know one thing, that this zero division error comes under arithmetic error. So if I will write that apart from arithmetic zero division error, overflow error may also come, or floating point error may also come. In that case, what I should do, I should mention that, or I can mention that arithmetic error. So I will write arithmetic error here. I know that arithmetic error might come, so I'll be writing arithmetic error. Yes. And I will now run this code. So now I will not get that. So whatever, instead of writing this, so let me do one thing. I will not write this, I'll write some error. If I run this, I'm getting some error has occurred, right? So I'm not getting to know that which error exactly has occurred, whether it is floating point error or overflow error or zero division error, I don't know. So I can give a name here as E, and then I can print comma E. So now if I will run this, so I will get that some error, whatever message you have printed, and after that, the nature of the error. So the nature of the error is what? Division by 0. Okay, so you can rename the error. So you can mention the parent class, and in the parent class you can rename the exception with any name. This is just a name. Okay, you can write anything. I've written E here. So the error which will be caught, let's say right now division by 0 error has come, so it is printing division by 0, but overflow error will come, then it will show you that overflow error. Okay, or the message which comes by default when you you get the overflow error. Okay, so the nature of the error you will come to know by that. Now, one more thing. Yes, Barney?
A quick thing. So in many cases, I might not know what error. So is it, instead of writing arithmetic error, can I write something at a slightly higher class so that it picks some random whatever might come?
One thing you should understand, that as a coder, you should know that what error is supposed to come from your code or supposed to be erased from your code.
Okay.
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 As a coder, you should know that. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
When you don't know that what error might come, you may go ahead and define your user-defined errors. Okay. Or if you feel that I may get all these 3 types of error, so you can mention this. So that's what I will be discussing in the next topic. So just give me a minute. Now, let's say you know that arithmetic error may also come, but you want to explicitly name it, like whether it is zero division error, or whether it is overflow error, or whether it is other error. So what I will do, for example, I'm getting this code also. Okay, so I may get zero division error. So now let's say if I will write here except zero division error. Okay. And here we will write print. Okay, and next we will write except name error. Print okay. Now if I will run this, so see what we are going to get here. First, let me comment this as of now. Let me comment this line also. So what we have, we know that by default, zero division error comes under arithmetic error. So if I will run this, which error I will get, arithmetic error or zero division error will be caught? Which error will be caught?
Arithmetic error.
Arithmetic error. If I will run this, so it is going to give me this sum error division by zero. Though I have explicitly mentioned zero division error, it is not going to catch zero division error. Why? Because see, the hierarchy is more important. If you have some child error which is coming under some parent error, so parent error should always come after child error. Okay, why? Because what so writing the error means what? I may write some error has occurred. Okay, you know some error has occurred, but what exactly the error? Whether there is money is there in the ATM or not, or whether there is money in my account or not, or whether this ATM is blocked or something. So that error has to come properly, right? That error has to come, the exact error has to come, then only we will be able to troubleshoot it. Okay, otherwise we'll become mad that what error. So some error means what error. So in that case, what we should do, that the child errors we should mention first. Okay, so what I will do, I will write this error now here. So if it is zero division error, then it will be caught, and apart from zero division error, if it is any other arithmetic error, then it will be coming to this. Okay, so as of now it is zero division error, it will be catching the division by zero is not possible, and then it will not come to this. So apart from zero division error, if other error comes, then it will come to the arithmetic error. Okay, now one more thing we have this name error. So
So Abhishek, when this zero division error, this one you have not written. So when it comes to arithmetic error, so it wrote like some error and division by zero. So similarly, if some other error is coming, it will identify on itself, and then it will say like some error or float division error or float error, whatever the error,
yes.
three errors.
Division error or overflow error, floating point error or overflow error or zero division error, it will be catching, it will be giving you the error. Okay, but if zero division error comes, it will catch this error. And apart from zero division error, if it comes overflow error or floating point error, that will be caught here in the arithmetic error.
Okay.
Okay, now we have next is name error. So name error is coming due to the line number 4. So now it is not zero division error, it is not arithmetic error, so it will be coming to the name error directly. So if you run this, some name is not defined, it is coming to name error directly. Okay, and the last one is default exception block. So default exception block says what? So default exception block, let's say none of these errors are here mentioned. Okay, so the error which you are getting, let's say for example, okay, if I will run this, I'm getting type error, correct? So let's say I have not mentioned a type error. So what I will do, I'll mention the default exception block. Default exception block doesn't come with the name. I can write here print some error occurred, okay, and check your code. So something we will write, some message we will write, okay, or check with your bank or something. So now if you will run this code, so what it will come, it will by default come to the default exception block, and it will execute this default exception. Now in the default exceptions, you may not get the type or nature of the error. Why? Because we don't know the nature of the error. Okay, so what we will do, we will go ahead and we will just debug the code, and we will see what kind of error, where the error we are getting. That we don't have any other option for that. Okay, so one thing, that this except block should always come at the end. It should not be mentioned in the middle or at the top, otherwise it will give you the error. Syntax error, default except block must be at last, so it should always be mentioned at the last. This is the default except block. Okay, fine.
So a default except is by choice. We can enter or we cannot enter.
Yes, you can write, you cannot write. So for example, if you will not write, then you will get the type error here. So if you will comment this, you will get the type error. Then if you know the error, then you can go ahead and write except name error. So except type error, you can mention the type error also. So generally when you are developing the code, don't write the except block, this default block, in the very beginning. Why? Because writing the default block, you may not come to know that what all error might come into your program.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it is always a good practice to write this try except block, or we should.
It is always recommended to write your code using try except block.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So next we have a finally block. So what finally block says? So let's say after executing all this code, we want to do some dereferencing, or we want to write some code. So we go ahead and write finally block. This finally block will in this, basically what you will do, you will write the cleanup activity. Mainly why we write this finally block. So finally block is written that once the code is executed, we are not going to write these 2 lines into the finally block. Okay, why? Because it is in the normal execution that has to be executed, but finally block is basically is written only when you feel that this particular code has to be executed by default, whether this error is coming or not. Okay, so we know that at the end you have to free the memory, you have to write the cleanup activity code. So we write this cleanup activity code in the finally. So we will write delete A, we will write delete B. So all these things we'll write, and then after this, if you'll try to access A and B, it will give you the error. So print A and print B, it will give you the error. Okay. Yeah. That should, sorry, that should be here. Type error is coming. So where is name error now? So print A and B. Yes, it is coming here. So A and B, it is not going to print. Why? Because there is it all deleted. Now finally block we have written where? So we have written you should write it after except block, and then after that, if you have something other code, we are not going to print A and B. Let's say after this you don't have the use of A and B, so you have deleted it. But if you have any other code to be executed, for example, now you want to print something else, or if you want to execute something else, that is fine. You can write it here. But again, since you have deleted it, A and B, you have dereferenced it, so you cannot access it in the normal execution of the code. Okay. Now, the next part we have is raise keyword. So basically, raise keyword can be used to define your user-defined exceptions. Okay. For example, let's say.
Abhishek, I just have one question. So when we say this delete A and delete B in finally, so you mean to say like it will be deleted from the memory?
Yes, A and B means it will be deleted from the variable area. In the heap area, objects might be existing, but that will be dereference. Like since it is dereference, so it will be why is try catch automated anyway. So that will be existing in the memory, but reference is 0, so that will be deleted after some time.
Okay.
Okay. So the next part we have is raise block. So raise basically used to define the user defined exception, to write the user defined exception. Now what you need to do, so for example, let's say I'm writing this code. So in this, we are writing large amount exception. Now what is this exception basically? So generally we go and withdraw the amount. If the amount is more than 49,999, it will raise this exception. And if it is less than that, then it will print this message. So how you are using this raise keyword? So in your program, you are writing the program. the exceptions which you are going to write here. So see, this large amount exceptions I have written, I can write it user defined exception also, and I can pass a message. For example, see, I'm calling this large amount exception, and in this I'm passing this message. So whatever message you will pass, that message will be set, and if you will run the code, and if the withdraw amount is more than that, it will give you this error that it is quite large amount to withdraw. Okay, so let's say if I will run this, I will enter 80,000. So it is going to give me this error, large amount exception. I have raised my own error. Okay, and if I will try to enter this amount which is less than that, so let's say 20,000, it will not give me any error. So using raise keyword, you can define your own, you can raise your own exception. And how do you define the exception? So as I said, you can use a class name to define your exception type, and then you have to inherit this exception block. Okay, you have to inherit this exception block. Why? Because as we have seen that almost all the errors are inheriting exception block. This is the parent class for all these error types. Okay, so for your user defined exceptions also, you have to inherit this exception block. So whatever attributes and methods are available in the exception block is available to your large amount exception also. So there is one constructor inside exception block, init constructor. We are using that constructor and we are setting the message which has to be passed from the raise keyword. Okay, so if you will now run this code, so it will give you that it is quite large amount. So whatever the message you have passed, it will show you that message. Okay, so this is about exception handling and file handling.